There's more! I'm back! CGI shit!
I rest my case.
It was fucking horrible!
This is the fourth take I've tried to do this laugh. I can't anymore. Oh, you guys are stupid. I don't know what y'all are talking about. I like this. Hey guys, what's up? It's BigJackFilms here. Welcome to another opening night. I'm here with Honey Bear. She's a little sick right now, which is totally okay. But we went and saw Joker 2, Fully Ado, in full attire, mind you. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people don't like this one at all. Like, apparently this movie sucks.
Like you said, we're like the minority that likes, yeah.
We are the major minority. Now, full disclosure, I really do like the first one. I have a story behind this, is that my mom had gone to TIFF and saw it early, like a month before its release. And she came at me and she said, okay, first of all, great cinematography. Joaquin's going to win the Oscar. But I feel like not many people are ready to see this. People are not going to be able to handle this. And she said that there were things in the first one she didn't like. And then she said, go see it, but just be warned. I'm thinking, okay. I go see it. I really liked it. Mm-hmm. And then they, obviously the first one was sort of the last big movie outside of Rise of Skywalker before the pandemic, right? So, of course they announced a sequel because the first one made $1 billion. And, of course, everybody was speculating about Harley Quinn. Would it be another 70s montage? Because the first one was Taxi Driver. Is this going to be One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest in Arkham? Then there were rumblings about it being a musical. Because Lady Gaga got cast as Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
And, a couple years went by. This thing has been in production for a while. It was highly anticipated. A lot of people don't like this. Like, this has not been getting the best buzz.
Yeah, and Rotten Tomatoes, they have a really bad rating.
Rotten Tomatoes can suck my dick. Because these people are dumb. And I'm going to call y'all out in a sec about this. But we actually thoroughly enjoyed this.
It was really nice. I liked it.
What did you say to your sister coming back? Like what was the thing? Who are the people that are probably really mad about this movie?
Oh, I mean, if you're single, I could understand why you won't like this movie because it's very romantic.
This is a date movie.
Yeah,
this is a date movie for any couples that want to celebrate Halloween and enjoy Batman or DC in general. Go see this. And in fact, times I actually still forgot this was set in the Batman world. And that is the one thing I will say about this. So just to get into the plot, it's a couple years after the first one. It is a court drama mostly about Arthur.
Which saying spoilers?
Oh, we're mild spoilers about this. He's being convicted, and right before he's getting convicted and he's trying to take away the Joker persona, out comes Dr. Harley Quinzel. Yeah, she is the psychiatrist, but she's going undercover at Arkham. Mm-hmm. And they hit it off, and it's an interesting psychotic romance. I guess in a Lady Gaga sense, this is a very bad romance, I guess you could say, which I love that. I like Lady Gaga's music. She's amazing. So throughout the movie, it is a musical, but all of it's told through Arthur's head. It's all told through, even sometimes you even assume it's her head. It could be Harley's head. There's a lot of that in this. And it does lead up to an ultimatum and everything with this. And I think it's just a matter of, it's what audiences don't expect. I remember Mahler just did a review of Alien Romulus. He didn't like the movie, but he said, when it comes to sequels now, you either get The Force Awakens, which is a J.J. Abrams nostalgia Happy Meal fuckfest, or you get The Last Jedi, which is a Rian Johnson experimental thing. I will arguably say this is a Rian Johnson, but done right. Like, done to a degree where you can kind of, if you just really, we went into it with no expectations. We heard all the bad press, and we went into it with no hope, and I think that's the notion to go into it, is to know, don't.
That's why you should form your own opinion. Like, you shouldn't be, like, I hate, no offense, movie reviewers, because
even though this is my job.
It's just, like, it's so subjective. Like, art is so subjective, so what you may like, somebody else might not enjoy. So that's why I, like, encourage, like, even for Jack to just form his own opinion, you know?
Not chase the hate train.
Yeah, because it's a whole hate train for this movie. And it's, why?
And I'm going to call you fuckers on this right now.
Yeah.
And I don't care if you can deny it all you want. Y'all want another franchise. Y'all want another DC Batman franchise. And all I ask is Matt Reeves not enough? Is waiting for the next Batman not enough? Is desperately wanting a Batfleck movie, like, I'm sorry, I'm just going to break down to all you DC fans. You're not getting a Batfleck movie. You're not getting the Snyderverse. You're not getting Joker 3 with this one, where the next one's going to focus on Arthur Fleck's opinion on Batman. It's not going to happen. Listen, I've been wanting a sequel to Batman Returns for 30 years. I've wanted a third Batman with Michael Keaton and Tim Burton, all them, and I know deep down it's probably not going to happen because it's just taken too long, and it's just not plausible today. Like, it'd be nice, it'd be a surprise. The closest we get to is The Flash, and that movie's bad, but I can appreciate it for Michael Keaton. That's the closest I'm going to get with that.
Do you think people are angry because that it's ending? Is that why people don't like it?
The ending is what apparently has killed this whole thing, and
because they're sad that it's the last one, right?
And because Todd Phillips did say, I'm done with DC, he probably knew that Warner Brothers was probably going to say, hey, you want to do a third one? And he just lit that shit on fire. He said, fuck no. And it's sort of like, it reminds me of how Ridley Scott, here's what's really sad. Ridley Scott was going to do a sequel to Prometheus, but Fox pushed him to say, no, make it more alien, because that makes money. We don't like you doing this stupid experimental shit. So he basically says, fine, here's your fucking alien movie. He didn't care at that point. He said, you fucked up what I wanted to do, so here you go. This is the opposite. Todd Phillips does not want to do it. He's pressured into do it. Him, Joaquin, and Lady Gaga are paid $30 million each, hence the rise in budget. Because this feels like the same budget as the first one.
Yeah.
And, you know, and he just says, fine, here's your fucking sequel. Now leave us alone. We don't want to make a franchise. And that is actually because this is his vision. He can do that if he wants. People are hating him because it's not the fan fiction. It's not the classic Joker Harley Batman the Animated Series. It's not even Suicide Squad. It's not her ending up with, like, say, there's no Poison Ivy cameo. I oddly like a little nod to Burt Ward because there's a place called B Ward, which is, like, I felt was a nice Easter egg. I will say one thing. There's the only real other Batman character that you see in this, and this is, I'll get into mild spoilers, is Harvey Dent. And it's cool that he's there. I like that. And knowing the comics, knowing what happens to him, you put two and two together like, oh, we're doing this. Okay, you know what? All right, let's see what you can do with this, Todd. Am I expecting a spin-off with him? No. I'm not. I mean, it's weird that, you could say in some degree, it's what I like about the series is that you can't tell what's reality and what's in the Joker's head.
Yeah.
That's what makes it fascinating. It takes a literal quote from The Killing Joke where he tells Batman, if I'm going to have a past, I prefer it to be multiple choice. And that's what makes this fascinating, is seeing it through his mind and also seeing it through Harley's mind. Yeah. So given what we know what happens to Harvey Dent in the comics, how do we know that's not in the Joker's head? How do we know if he's whatever, if he's still the same? What do you think of Harvey in this? Like, how they handled him?
I liked it. I like when there was a little nod to him at the end of his appearance. I loved it. But I thought, honestly, I didn't really like the actor for it.
There's one thing missing, and I realized
He was
this.
too cheesy.
He doesn't flip a coin.
Well, yeah, because he just turned into he didn't. There wasn't enough time for him to flip a coin.
Yeah, it's interesting, but when it comes to, like, say, the music, I'll say this, the way this movie opens is great. I love how it's a Warner Brothers cartoon. That it's a cartoon because it shows, I feel like this is something the Joker would do. He would turn his whole backstory into a Bugs Bunny cartoon.
And, like, it's something I've never seen before. That whole movie was just a new experience, and I don't know why. Maybe people just are so used to familiarity.
People want a JJ with the sequel. You either get a JJ or a Rian Johnson, and this was a Rian Johnson, so therefore people hate it. They don't like new and experimental. They want the familiar.
I love the experimental. It was so new, so fresh. Something I haven't seen like since the first one, but like it was fresh. It was nice.
Again, it's told from the perspective of a deranged psychopath. And with that, there is no structure. There is no rules or anything. There is just whatever the fuck is in his head, and people are failing to recognize that.
And also, I don't know if you noticed it, but they treated us as acts, like Act 1, and then there's a pause, like a black screen, pause, Act 2, pause. I love that separation.
It felt like you were watching a stage musical.
Yeah.
You have the black screen, you expect it to say intermission, right? And, I like a few Broadway musicals, so I felt right at home. The sets, actually, in Joker's vision, the sets are meant to look like a stage musical, like something on Broadway. Like the top of Arkham Hotel. I love that looks like something you'd see in, like, West Side Story, or something of that nature in terms of a musical. I think that's the part that people are just not liking, is that, why'd they make it a musical? Like, why is it suddenly West Side Gotham? Why is it the one quote I see on Twitter is people's best reactions are literally Shrek going to Donkey, "Stop singing!"
But isn't this like the first comic book movie that has a musical?
You could say this is the first comic book movie musical outside of, say, Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark, which I actually did see on Broadway.
Oh, but like in movies.
Yeah. Actually, this is what it reminded me of. It reminded me of Turn Off the Dark.
Yeah, so maybe that's why people are not used to it.
And that didn't do well. People hated that musical. I'm like, you guys just don't like superhero singing. You don't like it. You don't like comic book characters because you think, when is Joel Schumacher going to show up?
Yeah, they're not used to that. You know how these movies usually go? It's just action-packed, nonstop.
That's all they want.
This one had emotion and really like a lot of complexity in the storyline. I really liked it.
They want Batman 89 and The Dark Knight again. Oh, let me just do this right. They want Batman 89 and The Dark Knight again. And that was what people fail to recognize. Those were lightning in a bottle. And I hate to say it to everybody, you're just not going to get that Batman 89 again. You're not going to get that Heath Ledger performance again, which I'm not going to spoil it. But it feels like Todd Phillips, just to shut these people up, said, I won't do another one, but here's something hinting to a better movie that you might like. And I thought it was bold, and I thought it was kind of interesting to play with your head like the Joker would. And I don't get the hate here. I think they wanted something traditional. They had the fan fiction in their head. This is going to be about Joker and Harley's love story. And they're going to go away and toss chaos in Gotham. And then part 3 will be the reveal of the Batman in Todd Phillips' mind. How he visions Batman. And he doesn't want to do that, guys.
I remember when we were watching it, we're like counting how many cosplays we're gonna see next year at Comic-Con.
Oh, this again. Listen, the movie might be bad, but every Harley Quinn cosplayer is gonna start cosplaying this for the next year at Comic-Con. So just Comic-Con goers, brace yourselves. You're gonna get a lot of this Joker and this Harley, and they're gonna be doing dance numbers and stuff.
A flash mob of Jokers.
You know what? We could probably do that. We can probably do, like, that whole thing. I actually, again, like, I felt like there was a chemistry there, but it's a chemistry of just utter psyche. Like, it's insane. And it's two people who are almost, I'll say one is more insane than the other. And there is a chemistry there that I didn't mind. Although what I love that this movie tackles, this is the thing people don't talk about, the glorification and arousing like sense of fangirlism for serial killers. And I'm one of those people, I'm just gonna be honest, everybody who watches those serial killer biopics about John Wayne Gacy, Jeffrey Dahmer, all that shit, I mean, you've seen those.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be real, I do not support those. I do not like endorsing those. I think glorifying a serial killer and also trying to make you feel sympathy for them, especially if they're not a work of fiction, I think it's wrong. I think a lot of people end up becoming a bit more crazy because of that, like especially women who think, this is my man, I can fix him. It's like, no, you fucking can't. And I like the fact that this movie kind of tackles how crazy it can get from the perspective of Harley Quinn, because this is a fangirl. This is a fangirl who is obsessed with this guy. And I know they kind of hint that, oh, well, she went undercover because she wanted to get a degree in her college on psychopaths, so who better than to figure out the psychology of the Joker, you know? And granted, that's in the comics. Like, that's in the comics, that's in the cartoon, and it's okay. Like, it's a different take. People want Margot Robbie again. You're not, you want the Boston accent, Holly. Hey, although I will say, this might also be, I'm going to spoil this part, this might be the first comic book movie with a sex scene. Mm. And it's like, I guess you could say Joker finally revved up his Harley. Because that was in an episode where, like, she comes in lingerie, it's like, don't you want to rev up your Harley? Vroom, vroom. I'm like, wow, they finally did that. Okay. But again,
they tackle some sensitive themes in this film too, which I really appreciate. So then I don't understand why it's getting so much hate. I think it brought the awareness of how a certain incident can make somebody,
or a certain incident can actually inspire people in all the wrong ways. Like, yeah. Joker is the anti-Batman, whereas Batman is meant to be a symbol of hope for Gotham. Joker is the symbol of tear it all fucking down.
But it also talks about being a product of your environment, right? Like with the mom and how he grew up and stuff that made him and formed him into this way, right?
And they did explain, like, there was, like, they do rely on constantly referring to the first one, but what I like is that they actually expand on it, where you find out from other people's perspectives, like that the girl who was in the first one, how her and his mom actually did have conversations about, yeah, my son's a fucking psychopath. And in this case, yeah, I felt a little bad for Arthur, especially when they brought up, oh, his mom said his laugh was stupid. And it was based on a lie. Damn, that's heartbreaking.
I like his laugh.
You know, it's a real condition, mind you. You know, yeah.
I laugh at inappropriate things sometimes too. I think we all do, right?
We all do. I'll say this. Actually, the best thing that I liked, and I agree with everybody can all agree this is the best scene in the movie, is when Gary comes back. Gary, the little guy from the first one, and that there is still that, I guess, connection there between him and Arthur. Like, clearly Gary does not like to do this. You see what happened to him after that. He was scared for his life, and that, like, while Arthur told him, you're the only one who treated me nicely, the same applied to Gary. That Gary actually dealt, apparently what I like is that Gary is what Arthur is, but on a much more positive way of how he handled his mental state, where, yeah, he was treated like shit like Arthur was, but he learned to handle it better. So to hear basically Gary do the reverse, saying, you're the only one who treated me nicely, like, God, that for Arthur, that's gotta cut deep.
Mm-hmm. But doesn't it kind of put things in perspective? People are not inheritedly evil. It's just that the circumstances of life create this being that doesn't have empathy or a conscience, and that's why they do violent things.
Their brain can be somewhat damaged, but it's really about how they stir the pot and how society stirs the pot.
Yeah.
You know, and you have to balance out, because some people think that mental illness is all in the brain. Some people say it's created through the environment. I would like to say it's a balance of both. And it's all about, now the society part, the environment can be handled by the person if the person is strong enough to self-correct. And that's where because people don't want to talk about that. People don't want to take responsibility for these consequences. People have a hard time with that nowadays, and this series does reflect that. Like, the first one especially said, yeah, we got to take accountability. We got to treat each other better. We got to stop creating enemies. We got to stop creating jokers.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a simple task that people just can't fucking do for some reason.
Yeah, you think, I think even though the Joker is, like, quote unquote, like, evil and stuff, but don't you see like, I can relate to some degree to him in certain aspects.
In this adaptation, yes, you can see it. Like, because several incarnations, you either don't know that he's bad, or you do know that he's actually a fucking... I'll say this. You know Jack Nicholson is a fucking messed up person, that you cannot redeem that person. You can't redeem someone like Heath Ledger. You especially can't redeem Mark Hamill's Joker, who is, like, the best one.
They pieced out there. I read a comment that said there's no such thing as a bad Joker. It's just as different...
Except Jared Leto.
Oh, well, yeah. But they say there's different interpretations of how people view the Joker, right? So, yeah, I get it. It is subjective.
You ever read the comic? There's a comic somebody brought up about this movie that they did. It's called The Three Jokers. It was like an actual comic where there was like 3 separate Jokers in Batman's current timeline, because one would die and another would take its place. They kind of did that in the Gotham show, where there was like the twins that they both became the Joker. They were kind of hinting to that. I like that I'll say without spoilers, this movie kind of hints that they're going for that direction, that there are potentially other Jokers out there, especially with where you see him being chased by all these other Joker wannabes. Like, they're hinting that there are copycats, or the Joker doesn't really have a full-on core single being. Like, he's a person who can, like, almost transmit from person to person. Like, it's like a disease. And that's, again, fascinating when, like, in a way. It's almost like he's jumping his soul from one body to another.
Well, I think why they went so hard for the Joker, these fans or whatever, is because they finally felt seen.
They felt seen, and it's also because you live in a Gotham City that is, like, probably, out of all the Batman movies, outside of Matt Reeves, probably the most corrupt. Mm-hmm. The most messed up Gotham. And that's what I like about this Gotham, is that this Gotham, I don't even think Batman could save this Gotham, and I think that's what they're hinting at. This Gotham is so unfair.
Yeah. I'm gonna miss Joaquin Phoenix.
He did good. You did good, man. He
devotes himself into the character, fully engulfs himself in it.
You know, and this is his first sequel, and you know what? I know he doesn't do them, and I'm glad he doesn't. This should be the only time to show I don't like doing sequels, but you know what? Good on him for sticking through, trying it out, knowing what he can do and what he can't do, and I think ultimately this was a good experiment for everybody involved. Mm-hmm. To just say, in a way, this is very much the anti-sequel. That the sequels are meant to set up the next franchise, but this sequel says, no. It reminds me of in Beneath the Planet of the Apes, which is the second of the original series, where Charlton Heston, they wanted him back. Mm-hmm. He first said no. He didn't want to do it. But then he made a deal with the studio that said, okay, what if I disappear at the beginning of the movie, show up at the end, and I blow up the Earth so that we don't make any more sequels? Now, granted, that didn't work. They ended up making a bajillion of these, but his idea was he wanted out. He did not want, he'll do the sequel, but he wants to get killed off and not do this again. And this movie kind of does that, but in a way that's like, the director and everybody's like, we don't want to do any, stop asking us for Joker 3, stop asking us for Batman, you've got enough, appreciate, be grateful for what you have, we're bowing out. And this like, you know what, it's a and no, again, I think people are mad, and people are saying, is this a joke? And I think that's the point. This movie feels like the Joker made it. And I like that. So,
I dropped my hot dog.
You know,
So pissed.
We thought that was a warning sign that this movie was going to suck, but it ended up being a burnt toast theory in disguise. It made us say, oh, this movie's actually not that bad. I don't expect a third one. This movie's probably going to drop at the box office, but enjoy it for what it is, I would say. Don't go into it expecting the big franchise. If you're going into it in that sense, you're not going to like it. But I would give this, it's not the first one, but I would give this about a 7 or 8 for me. The first one's a 9 or a 10, but this is about a 7. I would give it a 7.
Mm-hmm.
What about you?
10 out of 10.
Really? Okay, you like this a little bit.
Well, I like everything, so...
Do you like this more than the first one?
No.
Okay. I think the cinematography's great, the musical's great. It just, you know what, guys? Go see it. If you don't want to see this, go see Transformers 1, go see The Wild Robot. That came out. We're going to cover that at some point. But I like this one. So, got any final things to say about it?
Can they spend $5 to get my hot dog back out of the 30 million they got?
I love how people wanting a refund for their tickets, but you want a refund for the hot dog.
Yeah, that hot dog was juicy. And
those are good. Those are they make good hot dogs.
I like it. I just final thoughts. Don't let people influence you. Like, form your own opinion when you go see movies. Don't let people like Rotten Tomatoes or your friends tell you it's not good. Form your opinion yourself, because you'll be surprised.
It's not even Rotten Tomatoes anymore. It's fucking Letterboxd, which everybody goes to now. That's the new Rotten Tomatoes, because it's not rigged. It's not rigged at all. Well, Rotten Tomatoes is rigged. Apparently, like, the studio forced them to stop showing the critic score. But like, that's why everybody's now going to what?
Who the hell goes on who goes on these sites anyway?
Nobody. It's either IMDb or Letterboxd. A lot of people talk about Letterboxd. I've never used it, but apparently it's the new Rotten Tomatoes because it's less rigged.
Everyone has such herd mentality. Why can't people just form their own opinions about things? Why must they spoil the movie for themselves?
That's the biggest pisser. Like,
if you think it's going to suck, then you go into the movie with that negative perception, and then you're gonna look for things that validate that thought.
Do you remember when back in the day they said no fucking cameras in the theater, no fucking filming the movie, that's piracy? Why aren't they enforcing that anymore? Because that's why all these spoilers are getting out, because they're just letting the pirates come in.
Well, that's why you don't go on Twitter when the movie that you want to see comes out.
Yeah, they got to bring back the strict policies with movie theaters. They can't keep letting people just film all these important scenes and spoiling it for everybody. So, that's Reddit's job, and they might be running the industry at some point.
They're more focused on you guys sneaking food in than a fucking camera.
I mean, listen, like, it's just, anyway, it's just, movies are movies, and I just want to go back to when there was, like, ways to watch it without being so meta and so hateful about everything. But, that's what my show started off. It was originally to kind of countermeasure the anti-angry reviewers, where I was more positive. Even with a bad movie, like, I'm still finding positive outcomes. They may not override the whole movie, but at least it's something to say, good for you guys.
But just because somebody doesn't like it, doesn't make it a bad movie. Maybe it's just not your cup of tea, but it may be somebody else's.
It's only, I find the only time it becomes a bad movie is if a person with millions of subscribers says it sucks. And that's unfortunate. It is such a herd mentality. But
yeah.
With that said,
we loved it. 10 out of 10. Go see it. Don't listen to anyone else. Form your own opinion.
I love this woman so much. She's amazing. Let me know your thoughts about Joker 2. In the comments below. Do you like it? Are you with the hate crowd? Do you agree with everybody else? Or do you agree with us? Let me know, like, positive people who like this movie. Let me know what you guys thought in the comments below if you agree with us. Support our Patreon. $1 more will get you early access. Go check out my girl's website, Resiliency and Me. It is a wonderful organization that helps kids in low incomes with mental health. And hey, with Joker, like, this is right up your alley, so definitely go check out her website.
That's why I love the movie.
Yeah, but she's such an advocate. She is amazing at her job. Link down below to her website and also to the Canadian Choice Awards. She's been nominated, so
thank you.
Vote for my puddin'. And let us know what you think. So until the next video, guys, like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys later. BigJackFilms. Honey Bear signing off saying,
go see it.
That's life. That's entertainment. And to quote Arnold Schwarzenegger in Last Action Hero, for Joker 3, no sequel for you. I'll see you guys later. Take it easy. Although that was Mr. Freeze.